This is something that's coming to creators through YouTube for free.
I'm not seeing anything that helps the brand new creator.
And what they're going to do is you're going to be able to stream across formats. Hallelujah. I'm down with that. Hey, welcome to the only podcast that watches all the YouTube updates so you don't have to. I am Travis, and I'm here with Rob, who definitely knows all about the updates. He just did a video on the main channel about this. How you doing, Rob?
I am very well, thank you, Travis. How are you diddling?
I'm doing okay. Been keeping it busy. Lots of podcasts coming out. I think this week will be a week of two. But we'll do two podcasts in a week. Sometimes because there's so much stuff going on. Dan and I talked about, and we'll be in the next episode about how YouTube views are down. And today we're going to talk about all the YouTube updates that have come out from the Made on YouTube event that happened in New York this past week as of recording this.
Yeah, I think this is the second time they have done this event. And it feels to me, Travis, like YouTube are trying to follow the Apple way of doing things in that every fall we're going to do a major update for all of our customers to let us know what's coming up. But I think the difference is that beyond you, me, and maybe, half of the people listening to this podcast actually care about the updates when they're announced, because a lot of these things that we're going to talk about, you'll probably forget about by the time you actually have access to them.
I know, it's so wild. I mean, we definitely want to excite people about, because some of these things are actually cool. I'm actually kind of excited about them. I think it is a good point to realize that not all this stuff is available right now. Some of it is, but not all of it. And despite them announcing this, sometimes they'll announce something and then you won't hear about it for almost a year. And then it comes out and it's slightly different than what they announced. You know what I mean?
The hype feature being a prime example of this, announced at last year's Made on YouTube. And I think it was fully rolled out like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And was the cause of many conspiracy theories about why views are down.
Dan and I are going to talk in depth about that on the next episode. Make sure you're subscribed for that. If you're new here, we talk about YouTube and usually help you grow your YouTube channel. But today we're not going to help you do anything. We're just going to tell you about YouTube, because we're not trying to help anybody today. We're trying to be real stingy. No, I'm just kidding. If you actually do want to send us a message, you can. The boost at vidIQ.com. You can email us questions and we typically answer those. But today, again, we're focused specifically on the updates because there's so much to unpack here. We want to give our feedback about it as well. Of course, there's a video on the main vidIQ channel. If you've not already seen it, go ahead and check that out. But let's start. So this event happened in New York, and they invite influencers and creators and such to come check it out. And it's really interesting because it is like a product reveal in a way. At least that's the way they do it. Much like the Apple reveals you guys and girls maybe have seen, where they announced a new iPhone, which they just recently did. They kind of come on stage and talk and then show these videos, and they have creators come and announce different new features.
Can I ask Travis, like before we jump into this, what would be your overall assessment of it, like the TLDR of what was shown?
AI, for better or worse, AI, right? Now, some of the AI stuff is great and actually very interesting to me. I think AI is one of those things that is very controversial, and people will either love it or hate it. It's definitely a very divisive thing. I look at AI as a tool, and if we can use it as a tool to make things better, great. I don't think it should be in replacement of creativity or creators themselves. I think that's going too far. But helping creators and creators make better content, I think, is fine. But that definitely, listen, Google is all about AI right now, so it's unsurprising that the YouTube section of it is heavily AI influenced.
My assessment in general is that I think there's just a lot of sensible new features, nothing too controversial. But I'm getting the sense more and more with the new features that YouTube releases is that they're now almost entirely focusing on the creators who have somewhat made it. In other words, they are monetized. I'm not seeing anything, and correct me if I'm wrong as we're going through this list, I'm not seeing anything that helps the brand new creator with new tools or features.
Maybe this
What if I remember?
Maybe this first one. Dream it, prompt it, create it. Now with sound. Well, you can make YouTube
Well,
stories.
you've blown my thoughts there. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So this one
Let
is
me
in,
rephrase it. Long form creators. I
okay.
don't think there's
That's
anything
fair.
called
Yeah,
that.
that's fair. So this is for shorts where you can create. If you're watching the YouTube video, you can actually see it here on screen right now, where you can type something in, and you've seen this before, where you can type something in and it makes an AI video of something, but now it has sound. That's the new kind of change. And the other thing about this is that it's free to YouTube creators, which is kind of cool because normally you have to pay for a lot of this stuff. So it's free to YouTube creators
Yeah.
for shorts. So that
I was just mentioning that in the video. Isn't it incredible that when VO3 came out, first of all, I think you needed a premium Google subscription of some kind, and it cost $200 a month, at least for like maybe the first day or two.
I didn't even know
And
that.
now, 4 or 5 months later, it's just free to anyone.
But that's the way a lot of things are.
Mhm.
Think about it. Remember when the internet was by megabyte and data on phones? You had to buy it by phone. I mean, kids nowadays
Yeah,
don't.
but we talked about maybe like a few years to get to that point. Now we're talking literal weeks.
Yeah, it's exponentially faster. And I've been saying this for a good year and a half now, that the growth of AI is exponential. It's faster than anything we've ever seen in humanity, I believe. I don't believe there's anything else in the history of human nature that has ever grown and exploded so fast and matured so fast. And
Mm.
it's just going to get faster. That's just the thing. But they're also going to bring together this next thing, which is kind of similar. They're, and I don't know, like, again, some of this stuff, some people won't be super happy with because they feel like it replaces them as a creator. Again, look at it as a tool. But like this one says, you'll be able to take, pictures and make them, put them into motion. And again, if you're watching the YouTube video, you can see this in action. And this is cool, I guess. I mean, it's more something that I would just share as like on like Instagram or something. Like I wouldn't make a whole bunch of famous off this or anything. I don't get it. Like this is cool, but
Something memey you can share in a WhatsApp group or on Messenger or
right.
something. But at the same time, Travis, I think there will be creators who just build entire channels out of taking certain images and making them do a very consistent, repeatable movement, which is either entertaining or fun or informative. Like there will be genius creators out there who figure out a way to maximize and monetize this one feature.
Yes, you're actually right. But again, if you're listening to the audio podcast, what this is, it takes a picture, you then pick a movement, which could be like a karate guy or a dancing guy, and it'll make that picture do that movement. It's pretty cool. Again, check out the YouTube video if you want to see like a visual representation of that. Now, the thing I actually am excited about, but not necessarily in this implementation, is AI editing. That excites me. This is for YouTube Shorts only right now. But what they're saying is they're introducing Edit with AI, a new feature that takes the heavy lifting off your shoulders. It transforms your raw camera roll footage into a compelling first draft. Now, we've seen things similar to this out there on phones for a while now. However, for something that's specifically trying to make AI YouTube, or something's trying to make specifically shorts, you can get it, but mostly you have to pay for it. Again, this is something that's coming to creators through YouTube for free. So this is kind of cool. For people who just want to shoot things and aren't really into editing, like I'm not a huge fan of editing, this could be really cool. Again, I'm more excited for longer form editing, but right now for shorts, pretty cool. What do you think? I mean, again, free.
Do you think they'll transition some of these tools to long form?
Yeah, for sure. They have to. Like, at some point, they want to do everything within. Yeah, absolutely. I would be shocked if this doesn't make it to long form at some point.
So yeah, another cool AI tool going to lower the barrier to entry, make it, I think, very easy for brand new creators to produce something of an acceptable viewing experience. But what I also feel with, especially with something like this, where you're handing off so much to the AI part of this, the results often come back where you think, well, no, that needs to be a little bit different there and adjustment needs to be made there. And once you get into the prompting stages there, it can be incredibly frustrating to get it the way you want it. So what I see is that people may use these tools to begin with, but as I start to grow, they might migrate onto something else, like a dedicated editor.
Yeah, I think if it does the outline of the video and then you can click and say put more of this, that it just depends, like how many clips can you put into it. This says that it looks at your camera roll footage, which might contain a bunch of stuff you don't want edited in. So I don't know. I don't know. And then there's another meme thing, turning your everyday videos into catchy soundtracks. So I guess this will make music out of a video. I don't know. It's like,
Isn't it almost
I was able
cuffing season? I know you're looking for that new date spot.
Isn't it almost cuffing season? Isn't it almost cuffing season? Isn't it almost cuffing season? I know you love
okay, a couple things. Number one, I think that song is kind of catchy. Number two, I've been the victim of cuffing season. I hate that. What do you think of that?
Here's my experience of cuffing season.
Okay.
I didn't know what the hell that meant 24 hours ago. I had to Google that.
Oh, really? Well, if you're a single guy like me, you find out pretty quick. Sucks. It sucks. But so again,
everybody, let us know who or what you're cuffing tonight.
Yeah. What's going on? I mean, can we not do that anymore? Can you just stop pretending to like me for a month? Can you last a little longer than that? It's ridiculous. Make me buy you everything. I don't like that. So what do you think with, again, all this stuff seems kind of memey, and it makes me think that they're actually really going after the TikTok audience with a lot of this stuff, like kind of, that sort of thing.
I think these are maybe tools that go under or over our heads in that we're just not used to relying on AI to do most of the work for us. And when it's not exactly to our specifications, we get frustrated. But I think for the more welcoming generation of these tools, they have better ideas and skills on how to use them. I think I'm just describing myself there as an old YouTube dinosaur shouting at the AI clouds.
I might be right there alongside of you. Next thing up, which is, I think is kind of cool, especially if you're a live streamer. If you're a live streamer, some really cool things coming to the platform. I think also one of the things they said was really cool is that on average, 30% of daily logged in YouTube viewers have watched a live video in the second quarter of 2025. So that's a lot. So some of the things they're going to do, you can practice before going live, which is interesting. I think the way we used to do it is we just make it an unlisted live stream just to test it. So now it looks like they've implemented that as an actual feature. It's cool.
Yeah,
going to implement it.
Sounds like a good idea, but as you said, Travis, well, you could just live stream in private mode or unlisted. Or the chances are,
100% sure someone's going to pretend, they're going to think that they're not live, say a whole bunch of shenanigans, and they're getting canceled.
Well, often the first time you live stream, if you have maybe under 100 subscribers, nobody turns up anyway. So like you are essentially testing it. But I do highly encourage everybody within the first 3 to 6 months of their YouTube adventure just to live stream, just to throw yourself into that baptism of fire, because stuff goes wrong. You feel really nervous, but it's good to get those nerves out of the way for when you are ready and do want to start speaking to an audience live.
Yeah, and they're fun. Another thing they did, I guess, I didn't know this. There's playables, which are like games you can play, I guess, with your live stream audience. I've not seen this. I don't know if this is mobile only. It probably is.
I've seen the games on desktop, just like independent from watching videos, but I didn't know you could do this.
Yeah, it says, they're introducing. Sorry, the playables were introduced last year, but now they're going to do it so you can do it with a live stream, which is pretty cool, and you can monetize it, which is crazy. I love that. They also are trying to prioritize discoverability, which is super important. I think it's something that YouTube has over Twitch. And what they're going to do is you're going to be able to stream across formats, which means horizontal and vertical simultaneously. Hallelujah. I'm down with that. I think that's amazing. I still think those are two different audiences. So let's take a second and talk about this for a minute. I think we will definitely be trying it on the main channel, although I think the problem with it is there's like 3 of us usually a lot of times. So how is that going to It might not work. Actually.
Yeah, and also what I'm worried about is, does this functionality extend out to third-party tools? Because obviously we use StreamYard. Is it going to be interpreting that input to be able to then broadcast it out both horizontally and vertically? And I feel as if that's going to be the big handicap.
Well, they have to, because technically, while there is like there's a studio that you normally can do things in the back end. And while technically you can broadcast directly on YouTube's back end, almost no one does it. So it would be very weird if they did not allow third parties to do that, because most people use OBS. So
is it up to the third party tools then to be able to? Surely they'll have to send 2 streams, two outputs of a stream to be able to?
Yeah, that's their problem. Let them figure it out. Not my problem. Figure it out, StreamYard. I'm sure you will. So that's I think that's great because they were I don't know if they still are, but horizontal vertical streaming, it was kind of overpowered when it first came out. You get tons of viewers and stuff. They're very fast, but
yeah, it was quite a transactional experience. People coming in and out fast.
But it could be interesting, and I think we'll probably test it on the main channel, assuming it doesn't break anything. I think
definitely
give it a shot. And the one thing here that I think is really interesting, and I'm super interested how this works, because as someone who was doing a lot of tech content, this would be very useful for me. React Live content. This is interesting because a lot of the times while you're reacting to things, there's the whole issue of copyright. So I don't know exactly how this works. Because building on stuff about it, we're expanding the ability to react live to content on YouTube, which for me would have been great for like the Apple event that just happened with iPhone, allowing anyone to start a vertical live stream. So, okay, back to that. I wish it could be horizontal, but okay. And react to other live events, even other creators who are currently live. That is great. Again, I would love to see that more in horizontal stuff too. Perhaps the reason they're getting away with this is because it's vertical. But also the other thing is I wonder if certain channels can opt out of this.
You would imagine so, yeah.
I think that's the other thing. Is like if I wanted to react to Apple's live event, maybe Apple, because Apple has had this thing where there were times where if you put too much of their, even though it's a promotional piece, it's marketing, you would get like a copyright strike or claim like while it's happening. So that's why you won't see YouTubers really live react to it, even though again, it's for marketing purposes. There's really no reason that Apple should do this, but whatever. So I wonder how this works. I'm super interested in this because I think this is it's very easy content, whether you like React content or not. Very easy, low barrier to entry. Can be a lot of fun too, though.
Can you remember, Travis, when the only way to watch the Apple Live event was by watching it through a Safari browser?
Oh yeah,
on an Apple device.
They really were missing the boat on this. They finally figured it out. Now they're on YouTube and everywhere else. Literally during the Apple event, there was like 2.5 million people concurrent watching. It's like, hello, you were missing out on this the entire time. That was dumb.
So just to quickly go over my understanding of the live react format, I'm thinking I can just find a video on YouTube, press, I don't know, inject or play on my live stream, and then start reacting to it, like pausing, playing. As you say, Travis, if that creator allows, I guess, live stream reacting to take place through a checkbox, I would imagine that all shorts will automatically be available to react to, because that's what they've been doing in terms of mixing content and sharing audio and video. And
live streams, I guess, might just follow. Maybe you're just agreeing to it as you go live. It's like you agree to let people react. Maybe that's the other way around it. Like if you want to go live stream, you got to opt into this. I don't know. We don't know the details of that. They just kind of announced it, so we'll see when that rolls out. Again, we don't know when any of this stuff rolls out. It may never roll out, but some of it probably will. Another cool thing is AI-powered highlights. Now, this is great. This is a great use of AI, where if you have a live stream, it'll create shorts. This will be great for our live stream, perhaps. Certainly, they're also talking about podcasting, doing something similar, where it'll AI find the best clips and then make clips for you, which is great. That's fantastic for a channel like ours, where we're doing long-form podcasts. So I love that. And then alongside of that, well, let's talk about that first. So the AI-powered highlights, I personally love because of what I just said, especially for being a podcast channel. You know, these things go on close to an hour at times. I need a couple clips here and there. We have someone who does it, but it'd be cool if it just picks some stuff out. That'd be great.
Can you imagine if every single week we could clip those savage moments?
I mean, I just personally do.
Typical concern, though, is how editable and customizable are these clips, because often I find with clipping tools is they take too much from the beginning, which isn't relevant, or it cuts too early, or it's just showing the wrong thing on screen. I haven't seen a really good one yet, although I know our tool is getting better and better as we continue to innovate on it.
In my opinion, Riverside does it best, because not only will it do the AI thing, you can actually go back and edit it and take words out and everything. You get to see the transcript next to it, so you literally can just, and then you can change the text. To me, right now, they're kind of the gold standard. Monetization. So this is interesting. I think Dan had a problem with this. Dan has a problem with a lot of things, which I love him so much for. But this one, I think this is the one where it's side ads are side by side. They're a little bit less intrusive. They're saying that like to not take away from the experience. The one thing I will say about YouTube is that I love over Twitch is ads on Twitch, whether or not they have more or not, I don't know, are much more intrusive because Twitch doesn't make it easy to rewind. You don't have to miss anything on a YouTube live stream. If you miss it, you just rewind a little bit. And you like if the ad came up, oh crap, I missed the last 15 seconds. Let me go back. You can. There's like weird roundabout ways to do it on Twitch, but there's nothing natively that's just sitting there and hit rewind. You just missed out on some of the greatest moments of whatever just happened during the ad. So this is making it even hopefully less intrusive. I don't know if this applies to live streams as well, but certainly, it does say during live stream, during their streams.
Yeah, this is during live streams. I don't think this is video on demand.
Yeah. So this is perfect. So I think this is great. And then they're also going to do beyond ads. They're also going to do public to member only live streams. It's interesting. You don't I usually would go the other way, but I'm going from public to a members only. That's really interesting. I don't know exactly what that means, but
you would have thought, as I said, Travis, the reverse of this seems to be the better one because that means only the members can interact on a live stream, but everybody after the fact can at least see what was going on. I don't know. Maybe there's some.
I think it's to get people to pay. I think it's so that people watch like, oh, I wish I could say something, or I wish I could watch it. I guess you could start off public, get a bunch of people in, and then go, okay, I'm going to go talk to my members only. We're going to shut it over to that.
You think you can do that midstream?
That's what it implies to me, the way I read it, because you can already kind of do that. You just have to manually do the chat that way. But I think this might be the visibility part of it too, maybe. That's the way I'm reading it. I could be reading it wrong, of course, but that's the way I'm reading it. Okay. We can talk a little bit about sponsorship and stuff, and we'll briefly go over it, but I know a lot of our listeners, this doesn't apply to them, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But they're doing the new burn-in sponsorship segments where you can remove sponsorships after the fact or resell the slot, which is cool. I think, though, that's kind of hard to resell a sponsorship spot on a video that's like a year old that might be dead. Like, I don't know how that works. These videos don't just keep getting views every day, so it's a little bit funny to say you can resell the spot. I mean, maybe. If you put it on, if you put it at Dollar Tree, like you go to Dollar Tree and say, I want to buy an ad spot on a Mr. Beast video that gets 2 views a year on it. We do that. So I don't get that. And then the automatic AI insertion of like the brands and stuff that you talk about in your videos is cool if you are, again, monetized. So this goes back to your original point that some of these that seem more kind of interesting to some creators are for monetized only.
Wow. Skipping over some of the features I thought were
No, I'm not skipping over anything. This is just the order of the website. I'm just doing
it. We're just like, I don't know if anybody's going to use.
I don't think this is very interesting to our listeners. But correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
So, I think if you're a search-based channel with evergreen content, the ability to swap out sponsored segments could be very interesting. But then also, if you think about the all right, yeah, maybe we are excluding 99.9% of the audience here, but like the mega channels who get like, let's say they get 1 million views in the first 24 hours, you could do sponsored segments for a day. And it's all right, well, on the launch of a video, we'll do this. I mean, let's take MKBHD, for example. All of his iPhone content gets tons of views in the first 3 days. He could have a sponsored segment for that first 3 days. And then there'll be a bit of a runoff for the next week where he could kind of resell that sponsored segment. But at the same time, you think about the biggest creators, they're already in bed quite intrinsically with brands they want to work with directly. But I think maybe it's a nice to have tool in that you're not forever burdened with this ad in your video that, maybe in 6 months' time doesn't align with your values anymore. And you'd have to go into a YouTube editor and take out the advert. Now you can just swap it out with, a brand that you are aligned with at that current time. And almost create a bit of a bidding war. I guess that my question here is, YouTube are offering a really interesting tool here. What's their financial incentive to do it unless they're going to take a bit of a cut of it?
I feel like they might, because I think it says brand partnerships. I'm assuming this is through them. not like ones you got on your own that you do like
yeah.
they're because they have their little thing you can do.
I guess that limits it quite a bit then. So
Yes.
if you can't plug in your own sponsored segments, you're basically just selling space on your video at that point, aren't you?
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now,
a direct
talking to
communication.
brands, they don't want this. They want it
Okay.
forever. They're not going to be super happy about this. And again, this is why I think it's probably through their platform, through YouTube itself, and using their sponsor thing that they have. I think that's where this works. I don't think it works with anything else. No brand's going to be cool with this. Like, oh, you want to take? We're paying you $30,000, and in like 2 days you want to take it out? No,
They must have consulted with brands to implement this. I mean, surely this is an advertiser creator.
No, they again
tug of war, right?
On their platform, maybe they did, but certainly not outside of that, because there's no brand to be interested in this. Because again, you either get the best part up front and then they remove it, which you don't want, or you get the scrappings later, and with no guarantee you won't be pulled too. You know what I mean? It's like it's like who wants to put money into that? I don't see that working out very well. I think it's through their platform. I think when advertisers and brands go through the YouTube platform, they're probably agreeing to this stuff, and that's different. But if someone reached out to me, they're never going for this.
Let's imagine it like this, Travis. An episode of Friends broadcast 20 years ago. Imagine if they had the same set of adverts running, because that's how television works. Like, you couldn't swap out the adverts 20 years later. But then also think about live sporting events whereby the event itself is sponsored by someone. I don't know why I'm thinking of Slim Jim and WCW. Like, they had the Slim Jim advertising on the ring. That's still there 20 years later, and you can't do anything about that. So it's like, great for Slim Jim. They've had this perpetual advertisement on this program for 20 years. But the owners of the WWE now, they're probably like a bit miffed, or like they have to start blurring everything out because there's not advert still there.
I've become weirdly obsessed with watching old WCW pay-per-views because there's a WCW YouTube channel, which I think is owned by WWE, and they were just live streaming a bunch of events, and I just happened to click through it. And this is a time when I really wasn't even watching wrestling, and I just can't stop watching, even though it's not even all that great. Like, some of the storylines aren't good.
Oh, yeah.
What's cool about that?
It's something about it good now.
Yeah, I love that. And then finally, from the updates, I don't know that this was shown at this event, but there's the Ask. Oh yeah, I guess Ask Studio was. And that is, I've tested this before. I don't know how much I can talk about. I don't even know, is this available right now or not? But I've tested.
Don't think so.
Basically, it's like ChatGPT in your browser. I don't know that this is much. I mean, it's kind of cool. We actually have this too already now. vidIQ, go to vidIQ.com and sign up, and we have something similar that'll do this already. And we'll look at your audience and tell you kind of the same things that this will. This is just doing it inside of Studio, but it's not available yet for everyone. So just go to vidIQ, try it now. We have AI Coach, which will do a lot of these things. The thing is, it doesn't do, when I farted around with it, it doesn't do what you really want it to do, which is like, you would think that this thing has access to all the secret algorithmic sauce. And you're like, tell me how to get more views in the algorithm. It does not. It does not. I would be very clear to tell you, it does not. At least not when I tested it, it didn't. And I was talking to YouTube. I'm like, it's kind of pointless to me. To be perfect. I pretty much told him, like, this is kind of pointless. I go to ChatGPT, do this right now. But for people who don't do that, this will be easy. It'll be, again, barrier to entry, easier. You don't have to go sign up for another account. So, okay, I get it. Fine. But it's nothing overly special. But if you've never done it before, give it a shot. Yeah. Inspiration tab, however, is kind of like something we've been doing years ago. Remember Daily Ideas?
I do. I think that's 4 years old, 5 years old.
Yes. We've been doing Daily Ideas for years. This is basically an upgraded version of that, but the version that they have is like our version 2 years ago. Like, they're still kind of far behind us in this sort of thing. And this basically gives you ideas of what you should make for your next YouTube video and such. vidIQ already does this, and I think we do it better. I've used the inspiration tab before. It's not bad. Again, free, so that's fine. I think we have a free version too, though. vidIQ.com. Sign up. It's like free. And it just gives you ideas of what type of content your viewers may like, and it kind of talks to you about like why that might be the case and stuff. I still think our stuff is tuned in a way that gives you more actionable details And our script writer, I'll still say it to this day, even if you don't do scripted content, use a script writer for research. It is so good about researching things, even things that are happening in the now, like recent events. So I would really encourage you to go to vidIQ and check that out, because I feel like while this is cool and it'll be in the studio, so it'll be easy to get to, you might, after you're done using it, be like, I don't really need that. And while we've talked about this before a lot, Rob, title A/B testing is here. We've been testing it for a while. What do you think, having now had access to it for a while, should people be excited about this or not?
I guess this confirms that title/thumbnail testing is now coming to everybody at some point in the future. We were just having discussions just in a meeting not an hour ago about whether we should pause A/B testing and just go back to what we feel instinctively is the best choice, so that we're not trying to cloud our judgments. Because I think, maybe this is a failing on our part, but I think what we tend to do is have fairly similar titles and fairly similar thumbnails, which means that we get fairly similar results. And then, like, should we spend a lot more time and resources thinking of very different titles and very different thumbnails for that? And I do still think more and more that ultimately it goes back to the idea and whether the idea was good for your audience, as opposed to really changing up the title from one to the next. But I think this is very clouded, very biased opinion of using it for 2 or 3 months and thinking, like, I just don't feel as if it's giving me the really strong variances I was expecting. Like, if you share the screen again, it shows an example where one of the results gets 50% of a watch time share, another one 31%, and then another one 19%. And that's like a clear result. Well, we never get those numbers. It's usually like a difference of 29% is a lowest score and 34% is a highest score. And it's like, there's hardly any difference between the best one and the worst one.
You're exactly right. But I think a lot of that is our fault. And a lot of people
It could be.
Because we're doing things that are so similar that it's kind of like, I just clicked on this one because I had to click on one, right? Like Sophie's Choice. So I think that title and thumbnail tools probably work pretty well if you use them the way they should be used, which is basically completely different title, completely different thumbnail, not things that are similar. If they're similar, you're probably not going to see much of a difference. So I believe that, again, I don't know if the tool is being used correctly. I don't know if it's utilizing the correct information to give us back the score and say this is the better one. But it's here. We've been asking for it for a long ass time. It's time for us to actually figure out what we're going to do with it.
I think when we have decided to go for the completely different route, like completely different thumbnails, we'll do it. And then we'll say, well, I probably think that one's going to be the best. And it's like, that turns out to be the case. And it's like, oh, well, that was stupid. Why didn't you just completely change things for that one, which he knew wasn't going to work, but he wanted to test it because he got access to the tool. The one final thing I want to just point out here as well, for people listening to the audio podcast, it says here, this expands on our popular thumbnail A/B testing feature, which has been used over 15 million times since it launched in 2023. And I think, is that all? 15 million times.
You would think it would be a lot more than that.
Considering how many videos are published every single... YouTube said 20 million videos are published on the platform every single day. Now, I know a lot of them are going to be shorts, but if you say that at least 1 million long-form videos are published on the platform every single day since 2023, that's 500 million videos, and only 15 million of them have been using the testing tool. Yeah, which seems to suggest to me that there was
access to this, though, because not everyone had access in 2023, right?
So they have to be monetized. Yeah, you have to be monetized, but maybe like the minority's voice, which is people like myself, many other creators who are shouting about this the most, have access to it and are aware that the only people who are using it.
It might be right.
I'm getting frustrated with it.
You might be right. I mean, that could be the thing. We complain about something, but we don't even know that we really want it, why we want it. Last but not leastly, not last, but collaborations is really cool. I did a whole bunch of collaborations on my channel with some very large creators. This would have been really cool to have access to. essentially what happens is you can invite up to 5 collaborators on a video, and the audience that so in other words, up until this point, you used to be able to just tag them in your title, which, you know, someone could click on and go to their video, but no one from that channel would necessarily know that you did a video with them, only people on your channel. This will now share it to that collaborators, oftentimes a larger YouTube channel's audience at the same time, which is cool. And the person who posts the video gets the revenue.
Stop right there, Travis. What do you think it means by sharing it with out of
the little
channel?
video that I saw implied that it gets shown in the subscription feed for that creator, and that it could be promoted to them, which would be homepage as well.
Right.
I don't know if it shows on.
What I thought it meant was if you went to the channel, you would see, let's say Mark Rober and Mr. Beast collaborated on a video. You would see that same video on both channels.
Probably.
That is not what I experienced. I went to Mr. Beast's channel. I could see he collaborated with Mark Rober. So I went to his channel, but he had made a different video, which was collaborating with Mr. Beast. So I didn't see how those videos were being shared to the other viewers. But yeah, maybe you're right in terms of a subscription feed and a home page.
They mentioned
you're more likely to see it.
They mentioned the subscription feed, so I would love.
Who uses a subscription feed these days? Eh?
That's the listen. I didn't say it was a great way to do it because not a lot of people. I mean, I do, but not a lot of people do. But that was one of the places that they said it could come up, and then also it could be promoted to the viewers of that other channel. I don't know how they determine when to do that, but they should be doing that anyway. I feel like. So it's interesting. Again, if you collaborate with a lot of creators, this could be really cool, especially even if it's creators of your own size. I think it's a really cool thing. It should have probably been out a lot way before this, but I like this. I like this, and I like the next thing that they announced, which I think is super cool. Auto dubbing with Lipsync. To me, looks game changing.
Sounds game changing.
Proprio dall'estetica. Adesso inizio a raccontarvi le cose che cambiano. The aesthetics. Now I'll start telling you about the things that have really changed.
So for the people listening to the audio podcast, you might be like, oh yeah, I've heard the auto dubbing before. But what's happening is we're watching a video, and while it's dubbed in one language, his lips are moving to match that. And then when it's dubbed in the other, when he says it in the normal language, it, you know, same thing, right?
We'll just carry on playing and listen to how the accent changes here.
First of all, the camera department. There have been some interesting upgrades in the Pro versions, but there is...
Whoa, what happened there?
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I don't understand like how he went from having like a normal English thing to all of a sudden a very deep Hispanic accent. I don't know what that was about. That was interesting.
And also, we saw or heard this last year with auto dubbing. We've had a year of that, changing people's voices to different genders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a few examples of where like there's clearly a male voice, and then the dub is into a female voice.
So I wonder why they allowed this to be in the video, because it almost seems like it's a mistake of some weird, you know what I mean? Like it almost seems like it was an accident.
I will believe this quality of auto dubbing and lip syncing when I see it and hear it on videos on YouTube.
I agree with that. If it works like this, I think it's great.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. If it works like that.
Fair.
I can forgive the somewhat dodgy accents if it sounds like a human being talking with intonation and it's an accurate dub.
I will say that within the next year, that is more than 100% possible. Like everything is exponentially growing. So I have zero compunction. I think this isn't going to happen. I think it's definitely going to happen. The one thing I will say is, from a views perspective, this doesn't often like grow a channel's audience in the way you would think it would, because what we've typically seen from YouTube, and the algorithmic portions of YouTube I think would have to change for this, is that usually when something gets pushed to one language, it gets pushed to that language, and then sometimes you get a sprinkling of other languages, but generally speaking is one language. So I wouldn't expect to see an English creator have a whole bunch of Spanish speaking viewers all of a sudden and it not affect their English speaking audience. Like something's going to happen. At least that's the way it is currently. If they have kept that in mind as they're, you know, building this out, and you just straight up grow more viewers, that's cool. It's just not been the case up until this point. So, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. And then finally, likeness detection. This is something we probably won't have to worry too much about, but think about the basic precepts of copyright claim detection, but with your likeness, which is cool. I mean, it doesn't really affect me too much. Probably would affect you a little bit because I know people steal your videos all the time.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
I don't know how much different that really is, though. Oh, it's for AI. So someone makes an AI version of it.
People in authority or like a big following, yeah, it will be useful. Certainly, I'm curious how well it works. Given that on the one hand, Google is giving you tools where you can create a possibly well-known person through AI, and then when you publish that video to YouTube, that well-known person sees that they've got a likeness detection and they need to deal with it thanks to Google offering tools for people to do that.
So do you think how often do you think this likeness detection is actually going to be used by a creator? Not necessarily small creators, probably never for a small creator, but like
yeah.
I mean, Mr. Beast, sure. Like some of the big,
yeah, I guess it's not so much how often is it going to be used, but how much of an impact is it, or how many viewers are potentially going to be misled by such content.
I understand and it says try this today. I don't know if that means that it actually is there, but I will say this is mainly for like safety and stuff because people can deep fake stuff, and I get that, and I actually appreciate that. But with all these updates we've looked at, I start to think millions of dollars were spent for each one of these things. I mean, probably tens or hundreds of millions, because if you think about the software, how much of that money could have been used for something else? Like get our views back. Can we have someone work on that for a minute instead of making little pictures move? Like, I don't care about that. I don't care if you put audio with it. Make some other stuff, man. Make my videos go out to more people. How about you work on that and spend tens of millions of dollars on that rather than I can take a picture of me dancing? Like, I don't care about that personally. That's just me being grumpy.
I guess YouTube's answer to that would be, think of all of the stories that haven't been told yet by the potential creators who haven't had the tools to realize their potential.
I mean, you couldn't have said it. They couldn't have said it better. I think maybe they should hire you to just make a little video for them that says, yeah, for me, I'm like, I don't care about all that. Give me my views. All right. I want to thank Rob for coming through and talking about these updates. He already talked about them on the main channel. You can check that out, of course. And of course, if you're here and you just kind of like this conversation, you hit that subscribe button. If you want to send us an email, you can do that. theboost@vidIQ.com. Also, if you're listening to the audio podcast, you can send us a text message. In the show notes, there's a link there that lets you do that. But you got to stick tuned because you got to stay tuned. Stick tuned probably don't want to do that. Stay tuned, stick around. That's what I was trying to say. Trying to say two words at one time. Because later this week, if you're listening to this live, me and Dan are going to talk about the other thing that's going on YouTube right now. All the views going away. It's over for us, Rob. It's over. We've been canceled by the YouTube algorithm. Can't wait to talk about it.
Again.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll see y'all in the next one.